Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be back here at this marvelous gallery and performing tonight with two amazing poets, Joe Mariner and Sophie Robinson. I wanted to show you some slides. I'm just going to go right into it. My name is CAConrad. So can you all see this? Okay, good. So this is called, as you can see, MARFA Poetry Machine in 36 Things. I had a Landon Fellowship, which is in MARFA, Texas, where the artist Donald Judd keeps most of his artwork. There's a lot of other artwork there as well. If you've never been there, it's quite a lovely place to visit, MARFA, Texas, Western Texas. So what I did was I create rituals that I call Sematic rituals to write poems. So I create these rituals and I get myself inside the rituals, and these rituals become an extreme present so that I can't be anywhere but where I'm at when I'm writing. And it jars the language out of me in very specific ways. In this case, what I did was I did 36 rituals a day for 36 days. And by the third day, it was just exhausting. But I really enjoyed the labor of it. I'm just going to show you a little bit of what I did and then read some of the poems. So this is a hamsa. I would start off with the hamsa, and this is a crystal grid that I would use around the food that I was going to cook for the day. And then I wanted 2 sunrises a day. So what I would do is I would look at the webcam in Virginia Beach and look at the sunrise. And then 2 hours later, I would go out and see, this is an actual photograph I took of the sunrise in western Texas in MARFA. So I would get 2 sunrises, and I'm writing notes between each item, each one of these rituals. This is an example of one of the poems. Can you all see it? I'll stand in front to make it harder. Venus Point 3. Half moon parts my hair. We went AWOL years ago, a different interior location. We listen to owl songs now. Another language we made of many. Does long villain mean cruel for hours or tall? Almost got the answer in their tapering voices, thin and thinner. A strong odor of questions. Meat aisle with grotesque in a can. Cover him in glitter after sex. Purple and gold in the rivers of it. That seems appropriate for Venus, but they don't all seem that way. So I really love the music of Yoko Ono. And what I wanted to do, and it was very successful, I would infuse all the food that I was cooking with Yoko's music. I'm a vegetarian, and vegetables and fruit contain as much as 90% water, and water absorbs sound like nothing else on the planet. So eating Yoko Ono's music every day really did help my project along. And then I used citrine, another ritual, to look at, you can see Elvis Presley in the background through there, and then I would lock myself in a closet that I did a blackout of. So I would black out every pinhole of light and listen to an Elvis song and then keep writing. Home point 2. The reason I call it Earth Home Point 2 is because I did another ritual before this. My boyfriend named Earth, who was murdered. I didn't want to confuse these pieces at all. So, Home Point 2. I love walking on flat surfaces. If mountains were flat, I would climb them all. A shot of gold in the seam, grafted from grown children of the gods. We are ordered to believe them, cock shoved into mellow afterthoughts, clammy, groaning magic. Turtle meat with little hat and dress. See my little baby, gather around my little baby, pushing her carriage up the flat mountain down to the top. So another one of the rituals I did was, don't ever try this. This is kind of horrible. So this is an awful movie. It was James Dean's last movie. Anyway, so what I did was I took the length of the film and divided it by 36. So I watched 5 minutes and 23 glorious, or whatever, seconds a day of this movie. It was horrible because the movie's just dreadful, and to be seeing it every single day for 36 days is just like a residual haunting of the worst kind. Another thing I would do during the day is I would go to the Pueblo market, the grocery store, and I would look for something very colorful out on the sidewalk. And then I would go into the grocery store and try to match that color. So this is chewing gum, and then, of course, the beautiful blue half-moon marshmallow. Perfect match, right? So it's basically looking for the intersections of temperature and color, and then I keep writing. Mars point 1. To be gone, a constant desire, embarrassed for the giant leaning in for love. We had enough of the dance number, but the whirling begins, it just starts. Silos full of air, no more corn, no more wheat. Watching myself for full details in a strange man's pants. We let the soldier board the plane, shot in head 3 days later. Why are you angry, you said. Why are you not, I said. That's appropriate for Mars in the United States. So then this is a railroad where a young woman who had just killed herself on these tracks. I didn't know that when I first started this, but what I was doing was squashing pennies every day. And pennies are copper. So that's the metal for the goddess of love, Aphrodite. So it was just a coincidence that this young woman she had just gotten married and just at the reception just threw herself in front of the train. I had no idea, though. And so that was one of the rituals I was doing. And then these are beautiful soto plants. The section in the middle, that long stem, is about, 14 feet high, maybe. And I would walk a snake pattern throughout the plants every day. Mars point 1. To worship tininess of a martyr, observe shrinking church and rearview mirror. The black deer, it turns out, was beige, a tan doe covered in flies. Flesh of shame is nearly the shame of flesh. Pressing an unstable clock to cactus with 1, 2, 3 counts of recalibration. Fuck you who asked for forgiveness instead of permission. All clocks are precarious, inscrutable windows. So then I also divided this book into 36 sections. I was excited about it because I didn't read anything about it. I thought that it was exciting. And then it turns out it was horrific. It was just this catalog of genocide of Native people using their traditional magical properties that they would use and all the ways to kill witches. And I wound up hating the author, Mark Simmons. He's a drag. But then the antidote to him was this is such a great film. You have to see this if you haven't seen it. It's on YouTube. Mary Wigman she was a student of Lacan's. This witch dance is, I think, probably the first modern dance in history to deliberately release trauma from the body. So I would use this video as a workout video. You get down and you stamp your feet around and you go in with Mary Wigman. She's beautiful. Then the other thing I did, this is a sweet potato, organic, and I gave her eyes and a skirt, and I would carry her. I wanted to interact with all the local people. I didn't want to be yet another one of these visiting writers who just hung out with the artists, because it's the local people who make the town, right? So I would go around with my sweet potato, and people got to know me as this poet with the sweet potato, and they would say, with their wonderful Texas accent, like, the barber was my favorite, this, 900-year-old man. So, you have your sweet potato today? And I would say, yes, sir, I do. Here she is, sweet potato baby doll. And he's like, yep. And then I would ask him about the movie Giant, and he said it was a terrible movie. And I agreed. Saturn point 1. Butterfly in a tissue box, not a real one, a painting, a monarch. One more sign for anguish poured and poured. A choice to feel or stack bricks between. I was sad when my talented friend started designing television commercials. He told me to grow up. But the rocks in the desert I touch signal an endless new place. Something without money saying, never tire of demanding love for the world. I also wanted to read page 36 each day of a book by Landon Fellowship. This is a terrific book. I highly recommend it. Ali Obenama, The Battle for Justice in Palestine. It's such a great book. I recommend it. Uranus Point 4. The only goal in my last life was to come back a poet. We had to leave, which meant backwards in the dance. Checked vital signs in the meadow, or maybe it was a rooftop. I don't know how I convinced them to let me do it. I used to think it was because I pleased them. Nothing mattered after climbing stairs to see you for the first time in centuries. Then in the evening, I would use this. Do you know this album? Oh, yeah, this is great, this song, right? She wrote this for Paul McCartney. Yes, I'm a witch. I'm a bitch. I don't care what you say. My life is written. You know this song? Each time you don't say what you want to say, you're dying. Such a great song. Anyway, Sunset. Then I would go to the Lost Horse Saloon to have a shot of whiskey with everybody. And it's a cowboy bar. It's a real cowboy bar. One evening I was there with Tim Johnson, who's the owner of the MARFA bookstore. And this woman with a long blonde braid rode her giant white horse into the bar. And all the cowboys are, woo, you know, and their dogs are going insane, and the horse is going crazy. And she leaps off and gets her drink, and they keep trying to buy her drink. She's like, I've got it, boys, you know, don't bother me. And she's a real cow herder, so I kind of liked that she just would ride her horse into the bar. Why not? Okay, so I do want to say, I don't normally explain them, but so while I was down there, I'm not going to say who, I'm not here to gossip, all right? But an editor of a magazine wrote saying, hey, could you send us some poems? I like your work. And I said, sure, and I sent some poems. And then the next day, I get this email reply saying, these are really depressing. Could you send something? Because these were the poems I just written about my boyfriend who had been murdered. So they said, could you send us something happier? And I wrote back and I said, fuck you. 4 exclamation points. Pluto Point 2. They requested a happier poem, the distinct sound of a backstab up on the stomach, getting a fix on the signal. Leave vomit on the seat and tell them we are not sorry for any of it. Poke surrounding haystack in search of a slow song. Excess is haunted by our poverty of benevolence, but we grab a broader patch of shoulder, corrupt the smallest eyes in the freshly printed poem. And then in the evening, I would go look at the MARFA lights. Are you familiar with the MARFA lights? So every evening at twilight, these lights come out of the ground. They're balls of light. It's a form of plasma. When volcanoes are about to erupt, they're often seen rolling down the sides of the volcano. But at MARFA, they come up out of the ground. There's sort of an intelligence to these lights. And they waver, and they change color sometimes. And they will often chase your car down the highway, which is I was so hoping that would happen. But they left me alone, unfortunately. And then the house that I stayed in was part of my Landon Fellowship, and it was built specifically for writers. Every evening I would go around the house with a flashlight, and so the architect of this house, her name is Kristen Bunkmeyer, and I would go around with a flashlight. This was part of the end ritual of the day, and flash a light and say, this is where Kristen's, looking at her blueprints, like, this is where Kristen sees me eating. This is where Kristen sees me writing. This is where Kristen sees me dreaming. I wanted to honor her. She's pretty amazing. Pluto Point 4. We win from time to time. Abandoned above adaptable positions of the losing, We risk everything in thinking we can navigate Maverick of the Green. Carry a bottle of wine into the pumpkin patch, looking for a new way to angle the old songs. Sell me a ticket to your dance, please. I believe in the strength of poetry. A little stone in the maw helps balance her on my breath. Thank you.
I voice cavernous places. I name the spaces in my heart. I ride the crest of pains. I am the rhythm of pangs. I am a spasm of strength that grows from the spine. Yearn for me. Your tears show you the way. Let them race down your cheeks like wayward children, like gaggles of untended and willful children. Let me in the golden chamber of your ear. Settle me in the room you have prepared. Hear me in your flesh. Allow me. I tell myself, and I tell others, a woman's mind is fundamentally important. I sit in my soul when I say this, a queen enthroned. I completely fill my eyes with the meaning, and I look steadily. To follow my mind is fundamentally, essentially important. If I am telling another woman, I look confidently, with the diamond of this idea filling my eyes. I look into her eye, and I do not drop my gaze. If she looks away, I wait patiently, knowing she will return, seeing to see again this truth. Sometimes I feel I am offering a ledge on a cliff face. I welcome her to search me for any trace of falseness. There is none. If I see a woman's head drop, lower, or see her eyes harden or vacate, I will sometimes touch gently on the chin or cheek, reassuring, confident. Often this relocates us, looking deeply into each other, and we encourage one another again to take a step toward a woman following her mind to the very end. A dream about a rabbit. The man in the shallow trench leans on one elbow. A white rabbit shines, a helpless little moon in the barren midnight. The man wants the rabbit dead. But the rabbit cannot die from stares. It does not understand hate. Now, far on the horizon, there is a glass house. Verandas open like friendly hands. Incandescent lamps make a show of welcome. And contained inside are beautiful women. They circulate like well-fed fish, unperturbed, not needing the oceans around the world. They float to the windows, and they see nothing. One swims to the couch, another arranges magazines, a third ascends to sleep. Outside, the man lifts a heavy stone. He cocks his arm like a catapult. Will you save the rabbit, while you're thinking about your answer, the man grabs you. You feel his morbid weight. Plant your feet. This is not about a rabbit. The she in my head. As good as any I've ever been. A no-stop winder of the thread, wender of the maze. Amazing! One who doubles, singles, turns all downsides up, insides out. The everybody look, no hands, no holds barred girl. The no handlebars, handle with care, full of un and con, fused in and out. Con amore girl. Queen of the inside eyes that never shut. The she who sleep leaps, that do not sleep and dream you can find her. She, oh Lordy, the kind of girl you want to buy her book. The kind of girl you can unclose and reopen. Remember her ideas, dear, in the tender grass of your hearts. Oh, darling, the kind of girl that makes you whine at your mother. Where has she put all the words? One time, we came to a green land flowing with water, and we set up our tent. Oh, arrogance of homemaking, pretense of comfort. In midday sun, men lazed on the rocks in the river, but it was anger basked there, fully fed and playful. A lazy eye, an open ear. There was danger here. The gate quietly shut, locked, jingling keys dropped in a well-sewn pocket. Oh, yes, we know the finger bones of fear. Feel the whole skeleton of fear in our bodies. It seemed we have never stopped weeping to return to the place we thought we had left, so abundant with ordinary that we did not need to demand what use, what other use, how many ways can we use the smallest thing. But we had chosen to leave behind anyone who would not come, anything we could not carry. We had chosen to try for welcome. And we had already cried many times with longing to be back. So although we feared and although we grieved, we continued. Of those traveling, some were old, bewildered, torn from roots. Some, the very muscle of strength, were sore with energy. Some were weak and asked for more. But there was little. And of those who continued seeking for a week, a month, a year, long did they keen, aloud and in silence. Of keening, they made a miracle. In keening, they remembered, and memory turned to seed. The time to plant, perhaps a long way off, they carried what life promised, the stubborn push of it, stories to feed their souls. Some would not leave, they remembered, and what is their story alone? Some turned back, they remembered. Did they find the way? Some have died. Where are their spirits? They wondered. But those who could not relent bore the inheritance, this seed hard as stone. Justice, off with your blindfold, they might have said. Justice, look, blindness can be deceived. they might have said. Witness truth, they may have argued. How I shift from foot to foot in my uncomfortable doorway. How I wish for sleep. But the ones treated unjustly are not quiet. They are raw sores. They earn their keep by weeping. My weeping sores. Wounds still wet. Here's a dream that became a memory. Someone had found a new home for me. People I know have come to help. Everyone sits together the night before and agrees how little trouble. My family is there. Men take off their armor, punch each other's arms in fellowship, and for the first time I notice my mother is beautiful and loved. The next morning, everyone is busy. Furniture I treasured reappears in place, fitting perfectly. And there are drapes to open. Light will paint the room in beauty. And the family is tired, and all the men, without their armor, curl together like pups. And my mother has never before been so beautiful and loved. In my new home, furnished with treasure and decorated with light, I think this dream is hope. I think every hope might contain beauty appearing, love ready for exchange. Now, I remember when everything dazzled me with beauty. I remember when every person was welcome to love. This is my dream. And this is my memory. Hope. The general is dying. When death holds the general's head in her pincers, the general cries for his men, all his men useless on porches. Rat-a-tat-tat, what's that, what's that, raves the fevered general. He knows these men are shattered, whipped, wiped, wept clean, and now not reporting for reporting. And only he remains. I am not the son, I am not the one, raves the general, leaking tears. Is the heart still oozing, sir? Blood? Yes, sir, 3 bags full, tries the dying general. But all he can do is lie low as carpet, hardly breathing. Watch out, coughs the general. Yes, sir, we will. The general is stuck and twitching. Old death father of fathers, the leader of men. The eyes of the dying woman. The girl feels a bird thrashing in her throat, a sharp beak pecking the soft places in her nose, a bird that wants to drink from the eyes of the dying woman. Let loose, this bird can plummet, cut water like a knife, grasp a heavy life in claw, and burst out, fly the living soul wrestling to the final air. The girl does not know this. The woman knows. Her dying eyes do not let go. Roar for me, girl. Do not hood your bird to silence. And thus the dying woman tangles in her hope the heart of the witness girl. The girl wants to fall, catch the difficult truth, then beat strong and determined against its heft. She dares to think that even if diving down she kissed rock where once lake sucked, she wouldn't care if her plunge would scare away all fear, so no one could ignore this woman's dying. But she had been taught nothing happens when a young girl cries. You were taught lies, are the last words from the dying eyes. Do you remember the tragic desperation of los emparedados, the walled-in ones? They were women who lived in the walls of sanctuaries. Women who sat in the rising darkness and asked men to lay stones. Women too tortured to notice grief, either of those still out or those also in. They moaned, "I am waste, too heavy for my own soul. Save me." Buried hope, complete obedience, begging. A broken will, but still strong enough to lead to helpless dependence. Who dares feel the torture of this imprisonment? Emparedados, walls. Pilgrim walks. I will not forgo the journey. I have not yet followed my thoughts far enough. Do not entangle me in questions of pity, should and ought, duty or fear. What of drowning? Is it better than not drowning? Falling off, is it like sleep? These are questions that arise for the pilgrim. Answers? This is what I know. Be able in solitude. Be free to not be alone. Can you hear your voice? It is the voice of cavernous places. It is the naming of spaces in your heart. It rides the crest of your pains. It is the rhythm of your pangs, the spasm of strength that grows from your spine. Yearn for it. Let your tears show the way. Let them race down your cheeks like wayward children, untended gaggles of willful children. Let it in the golden chamber of your inner ear. Settle it in the room you have prepared. Hear it in your flesh. Be.
Joe, and thank you, CA. This is such a lovely evening. Well, it wasn't until now. I'm going to start by reading, bear with me, I'm super nervous. I'm going to start by reading a new poem. I haven't read it before, and a bad omen was that I tried to practice it today in my friend's garden, and it made me feel so sick that I puked a bit in a flower bed. So I thought I'd get it out the way first, because I'm a masochist. Honey Lamb. I don't remember going downstairs, saying sorry or never mind. Just the moment of waking, not knowing if it's dusk or dawn, sweating like a hothouse flower, red and wet and pulled up from under, and gasping and steeped and steaming like a tea bag, and drunk on sleep and beer and sadness, blue and dewy as a hothouse flower, and the white vodka crouching neat inside me, low as a bullet, and burning light like a living laser, and I feed it milk and honey and lamb until I'm sticky like an ant, shining like a hothouse flower, thrumming with the urgent clag of honey blood across my chest in uneven lubbing, My vodka heart trembles like a chihuahua, and bruises break across my skin, all purple and yellow as hothouse flowers, and the white-hot vodka stars at dusk and dawn glitter inside me. I am beautiful as a hothouse flower when I turn myself on. I light up in twinkling points between the milky bones of my ribs and my pelvis, and all of the bulbs I planted, and my fat, hot head burst into bright flowers through my eyes, and my teeth bleat like a lamb, and I spark myself up into a column of coloured light, and I fire myself off like a gun, going downstairs to say, sorry, never mind. Didn't puke. Yet. This is also a new sequence. It's tentatively titled God is Magic. Do you guys know the X-Files? I'm a really big fan, and I'm trying to do this ritual where I write one sonnet for every episode of the X-Files. I'm on number 13 of like 201, so I'll just read a few of those. Conduit. This moment is all about staying, finding a legitimate handle for your feelings. She can take all of that wolf stuff in her stride, but it's as easy as holding the moon to ransom. The mainframe projection of a lake is shining from the backyard of your bright address, and today money is just a note on the door of the future. Thin groups are crying in the forest. We should all dial 9 for I'm fine. What are we but a bunch of fallen sequences? Scully walks this city in fragments. The city is stronger than a helix. The bureau is puking. I would go down on literally anyone for a cup of coffee right now. Shadows. Today, woman is a column of light, all fastened up and moving fast down a hallway, ready to show you what's really out back. Today, fear pushes the bulbs from the ground, the paychecks from our hands, sends the record button glitching on and off. Negative objects framed and reframed, deep and arterial. Today, woman is a ladder of light, and all the corpses are cooperative and stinking. Today, nothing is easy. Deep electrostatic whimpering, a pathological fear of balloons. Today, everybody is sacred, neat boxes of light and blood and patient desire. Ghost in the machine. The world headquarters of intimacy are surging. Everyone here is white and grinning at the front and centre of their happy frozen scene. The elements of my face are stacked strangely, like a mangy, smashed-up gun. Come here and help me wear these men like a skin atop my scruffy system. I want to let my bodily functions shake me into violent brown relief beneath a single blade of sun. I want to ride upon the fat, sad back of my sweetest monster, my fist in her mouth. I want to knock the walls of me clean through, to lurch in amazement at my best new self. Ice. My hands are like paper in the night. My hands can touch a meteor. My hands can break you open like forceps. My hands are shaking against a window. This poem frightens me, and my saliva a mirror glazing the mountains. My hands performing bad procedures on my sweet little pets, my little parasites, my gloved hands holding planets for months, and dawn taking on a damaged look. On the empty side of the bed, oh, I am wiping up the dead slowly. I am putting makeup on the living parts of me. I just want to make sure that we all are who we say we are. Space. Bring me a world made of liquid. Bring me a flashlight in the fog. Bring me a stable image of myself. Bring me a faulty performance of manhood. Bring me Saturn on a stick. Bring me a decent sex life. Bring me your worst opinion of yourself. Bring me Florida. Bring me sunshine. Bring me an affordable apartment. Bring me a grateful cat. Bring me any coffin that will fit. Bring me the faith you place in technology. Bring me your crucible. Bring me your unfounded suspicions. Bring me vodka. Bring me rockets. Bring me payday. Bring me something really cute this time. Fallen angel. This is for my poetry bros. So you think you're the chief of poetry. That's a strong opening, I guess. A sweet and knocking agency guides you to my room where you reckon, like I said, I'm guessing, I will scrub up. The truth is, and I know you love truth, you talked about it for long enough at the bar before, if this was your autopsy, then even the coroner would be dead. Listen, I am high and drunk and bored, and I can still hear the feral fraud in your voice for hours, like its echo gives me blisters inside my ears. You are so jacked up on your opinions. I'm not hanging low for your success. I've got my own toxic moaning to attend to, dude. And one final one from the sequence. Eve. My neighbourhood is the most dangerous and frightening place I could have chosen to live in this city because I live there. Hello from here. The dark park, the digital highway, the crummy beds, they all say hi, and thank you for that time that you fingered me with such precision in the hallway. I know precision comes with responsibility, and I wanted to let you know that you did great. And then I'm going to read some poems, like 8 or 9 poems from a sequence that's finished and should be coming out at some point. It's a book called The Lives of Perfect Creatures. And this first one, it's called Where the Heart is Streaming. And I was thinking a lot about utopic space and particularly like communal spaces that were kind of utopic and reconfiguring ideas of home and stuff. And I was getting ready to leave London to move to Norwich after many years of living here. And one day at dusk, I was walking home from the pool, and I was walking across Hackney Downs near where I live, and it was sunset, and it was just like absolutely beautiful. And I was like almost moved to tears with how much I love this city. And I stopped to take a picture, and was just feeling really I was feeling very utopic. And then I heard this like bike bell behind me, and this guy was like, "Get out of my way, you fat cunt." And I was like, I love London so much. So yeah, he's in here. This is for him. Where the Heart is Streaming. There are places in which the mind thrives like plankton, where jobs are easy to come by and every apartment overlooks the park, where the funeral has barely started and the heart is a mist that rises and clears like a browser and streaming faster, a gapless surface of fake solids. And there are places in which love reproduces itself like a lizard's tail, heeds to no alarm or database, places where the sun raises like a fat cunt glowing in the sky, places where the rats don't race but rat out their days in a waterlogged stupor, places you can dive into from a height. There are places where the heart is mega-shared and its kitchen's always full of food, where babies name themselves, a place you cannot unknow. And in some place from the past there is a bucket doubling as a womb, full of infant newts and frog spawn. In some place you cannot know is you, full to the brim with ungendered yearning. And there are places that smell of honey and decay, places where mistakes can be undone by pressing a sequence of 2 or 3 keys, places where the language flows uncoded, where everybody understands each other. There are places where people burn money to keep warm, places where shop windows are broken and blood makes patterns on the walls. There are places where every building looks the same and nothing can be bought or sold. There are places through which a tall fence runs, with holes too small to kiss your opposite number through. And there are places in which each citizen is tattooed, head to toe, with the face and body of another citizen, and everybody takes to the lakes naked. Places where public transport is free and police tip their hats to beggars on the street and nobody dies. There are places where the dead rise from their graves to avenge the living, places where the dead turn into doves just to peck themselves dead again. There are places in which bleeding takes the place of talking, with water in place of mirrors, with eyes instead of cameras, patches of pure darkness on a Google map, places you can't arrive or leave. And there are places in which the lives of happy and boring people unfold day after day, where nobody writes anything down and nobody suffers from the damp and the cold. There are places you have been and will never go again, where the yearning to visit stands in for the visiting itself, as though you could trick yourself out of death or labour for a second go at being free. There are places where the moon is God-blocked into a pinprick, and places where it largens and honeys, places night never falls, and the citizens sleep with snakes across their eyes to block the light. And the heart itself a snake, knotted into a place you can never see or fathom, a stupid fist raised in protest, shrinking by the minute, longing to be dropped in steaming water, to expand to the size of a glass, like a hybrid tea rose sewn together in a factory in Bangladesh and sold for 800 times its worth. And the workers streaming utopia, their bodies dropping from the walls all night. Hurt Face, for Joseph Saravollo. I come home late like a man, like a stranger, zebra-headed and foreign, and sit down at the table to write poems because I want to. I put my key in the door and keen and cry for all my flat old places. Fall asleep on the keyboard and reblog the universe. Fuck with my long, sad dick, every last utensil. Put on whiskey and strip in the garden. Have a scratchy fight with next door's pets. Eat and vom the flowers flowering on my face, the flower of my stupidness today. Listen, I sing when I work, and I work all the time with lovely Wi-Fi and a sharp, clean Sharpie and my big girl knickers all in a twist around my throat. I've drawn you a face to wear, and it's my face, and it hurts me. But whatever comes, you've come through the door now in your own face with your job and a bag full of food. Oh bum, oh joy, oh bloated world, what dreams I am on the stairs of. This is called I Hate Flowers. It's literally the only poem I wrote last year, and it's really, didn't come from a great place. I hate flowers. All I want is sinking ships. All I want is ships underwater, trains underwater, cars dropped from ships into water, trains carriage by carriage like links of sausages dragging each other under. I don't want to be taken anywhere. I want the traffic to stay still. I want the future lost and rusted. All I want is everything underwater forever, rendered in scum. I want everything looking like a shitty picture of how it used to be. If I could kill my freaks. When you say self-help, I say I have never, ever helped myself to anything but my flatmate's little treats. Squares of cheese, a curl of butter, a fistful of greasy red spaghetti, naked at the door of the fridge. But at times I have been sucked through the neon straw of your perfection. It slackens perspective to even think it, makes my wrists sweat Valium yellow through themselves and the shirt and the jumper and the coat. Nothing stops that rancid branching of my body out east and west of itself to draw you in, as though I care which way you coil your hose. You could take a slice of my love and not want for weeks, but I've eaten the whole blobby quiche. Sophie, please do a better job of yourself. Something has been sleeping on your ruins and it barks and whines all night. We are all very tired. Take 4 painkillers and turn off the light. This one's a bit more cheerful, I think. Jagged our names and not our creatures, Veronica Forrest Thompson. I wish I had a better name to be called by, like you might call a dog at a lake and she would surely turn, and I could eat your name for days. I would gladly bow my head, oh, as the ploughman to the plough, and become the machine that made me, that gave me my name, my job. And what would I be called then? For now I sit and wait in boots I made myself and laced in faith, on better days than this and with better names, and thinking about the names that trump other names and who wears them. How, for example, when you search for yourself, you don't always find what you're looking for, or say your name and feel like a stranger at the bank with your wad of cash for rent, or at the park you stop when called to find a pup called Sophie chasing down a human you don't know. Do you have a problem in your life? No. Buddha says, look on the internet and you will surely find one. I mean, a problem. I had 107 problems, and I named them all to keep them safe. And then I kissed them all on the back and the sides. I brushed their hair, and I called them my baby diamonds. Buddha said, name your price. So I named my price Sophie, and she is high and heavy. She is surely gold. But now I want to call my price better. I want to make my price the price a dog would pay. Besides, you can call my price by any name, and she will come just the same. Like dogs, we neglect our work and lie on soft carpets and ruffle about to the tune of the internet and shed our love all upon and around our bumbling man-child that we made and named. You can say eat the cake and you can even eat it, but you can't say Anna May and no, you can't turn her. How stupid and crazy to always have to say everything so much, to have to tell people not to hit it up or be a fucking joker, to always have to be the one to say no, and then the long walk back to womanhood, so obvious and boring to you. So you make up names and say you are anything, or write some awkward long-limbed poem just to remember you have a clip. If you turn the head of my dog, she will surely come, but my cat doesn't come when I call. He doesn't go anywhere at all. He just stays home all day, shagging blankets, or crying on the roof and waiting for my face at the window. Buddha says, do you get naked in the distant thunder? No, sir. I keep my clothes on so my pets will know me, so my poems will know me. It's going to be 2 more. Museum Island, Oslo. For Cat McShane. It's the last week of my 20s, so why should I care what the weather does? The weather doesn't give a shit about me. You said that all of this is me shedding my skin before I take a turn. I imagine myself on the dance floor of the themed party you won't throw me. Oh, there goes that brat again, she's in her 20s. But really, this year feels more like I'm throwing up history. And sometimes my life is too hot to stand up straight in. I want to run red-legged down the stairs, but I can't get out of this tub. Just wheel myself from place to place. crying and slippery and a bad thing to look at. How strange and crappy for you to have to live with my face so often, when for me it's something I glimpse and shed like a t-shirt, or to have to hear me at night in your ear, voice higher and sadder than I imagined it to be. I do whine like a dog whenever you go, and you do always seem to be going, keys smashing on the concrete on the wrong side of the door. All of this living and waking is so unbearable, I can't find the cold tap, and sleeping feels like drowning. Today, the light plays us off against each other. Your head's a halo, and I'm all in shadow. And as I slip into and under the night like a sheet of paper, I will see your face, your mouth opening, a great neon silent O. And tomorrow I will wake up gasping, retch white wine into the sink, then go to the National Museum and stare at 400 years of paintings of mountains and midnight sunlight, and buy you a postcard with a photograph of a bum on it. Because I want you to know I love you, and I'm trying to tell you something, and I miss your screaming light. This is a poem for poets. I'm going to finish on this. Hands flap and roar, never normal under wraps, and putting on events lest we get defunded whilst heaving on the nasty pony of our dailiness. Bruised nail beds, visible as babies. No, it disappears, the body, it goes away. I wish it would, rarely, the frontal image of my less good self. A hammer hammering a hammer. Ice buckets made of ice. A cockroach crawling on a rat. A triangle inside a triangle. A chicken eating KFC. A dog doing an impression of another dog on TV. Two women fucking in the street. You be the rust and I'll be the steel and disappear. You be the rust and I'll be the steel, so get on me. By the shoals on the beach, by the water in its plenty, by the sheepskin, by the chill, by the trains, by the drowning and the hail, by the moaning in my emails, we will come unhooked in time. I've got such a big nose. I should win. I should win an Oscar. Pissing in it is the least best way to clean a swimming pool. Writing this poem must be the least best way to say I like you, all of you. And even though everything is disappointing and gross, you are all okay the way you are. Thank you.
Why do we need to pretend I see you at the start of my day and the end? I said my final goodbye, but now you come back on my screen each night. Under my fingertips, I stroke your glass lips. Oh, binary ghost, leave me alone. I know you're just ones and zeros, but it's breaking me out. I could try to shut this all down, shut down, crash, delete the memory bind. Screen, we stare at the light and we listen to our big brother each night. Behind the eyes, we feel ourselves shrink and slowly forget how it feels to think. Ignorance is my bliss. Don't want to fall out of this. Freedom is slavery. My mind won't ever help me. Help me. What's this I read? You betrayed me, but I don't recall. I'm buried in double thought. Ignorance is my bliss. Don't want to fall out of this. Freedom is slavery. My mind won't ever help me. Help me. Help me.
sure a lot of you noticed I stole some Orwell there. That song was called Doublethink, and the one before that was called Binary. I'm very bad at naming the songs, or telling you the names of the songs, and it's actually, when you're listening to poetry, that you remember it's a very good idea to give the title. And this is the first time I'm playing any of these songs, by the way, so it's that's a nervous feeling sometimes. And yes, it's nerve-wracking, but I'm enjoying it. Hope you are too. This next song is called The Edge. I usually have a drummer, but today I have this. I shouldn't have done that because now you're going to think this song is funny. But you'll soon realize when I start singing, none of my songs are funny. But I thought it was important to put a dance song for us all. So if you want to dance, you can. There's a nice big space here. This song is called "Oh Father." The next song is, I challenged myself to write the story of Oedipus Rex in as little words as possible. Probably could do it in less words, actually. Like, oh shit. But if you don't know the story of this, Oedipus Rex, I actually hope the song actually tells the story. I feel like if I sung this to a child, I hope they would understand the whole story in the song. That was my aim. Although when I sang it to my mother, she still didn't get it. She already, yeah. Which is a good thing, probably, that my mother didn't get it. Someone's mother got it. Oh dear. I'm making Oedipus Rex jokes. Trying. So this song is called Rex.
Exactly what I said, and that is why you fled from home. You came across another land, took a woman's hand for your own. You'll never see the sun for what you've done to your own blood. You'll never see the sun for what you've done to your own blood. Waste away. The only way to save them is truth. It was you who killed their first king. Can only mean one thing, one thing. Can you see now who you are? You were her king and husband and child. Take out your eyes, for you've always been blind, blind. You'll never see the sun for what you've done to your own blood. You'll never see the sun. Can you see now who you are? You were her king and husband and child. Take out your eyes, for you've always been blind. Take out your eyes, for you've always been blind. Can you see now who you are? You were king and husband and child. Take out your eyes, for you've always been blind. Take out your eyes, for you've always been blind.
I think I'll just play one more in here. And I think I'll do... Just going through my songs. I've not played them before, so I never... Sometimes forget which ones. I know. I'll do Stranger.
You're a stranger again. What do they call you? What do you do? What do you stand for? Your face has changed. Your body used to belong to me. Now I'd look away if you took your clothes off. To know you again. Will I ever, could I ever forgive you? I forgot your language, all the words you taught to me. Sometimes I try to speak, but the words dissolve in my mouth. Like your taste, like your scent, like your heart. Like your taste, like your scent, like your heart. I could never forgive you. Will I ever forgive you? Could I ever forgive you? you're a stranger again. You're a stranger again. And the lemon in my mouth, it burns my insides. And you're a stranger again. You're a stranger again. And the lemon in my mouth, it burns my insides. You're a stranger again. You're a stranger again. You're a stranger again. Oh.
Someone else's song.
Maybe he will come out of this. Maybe he won't. Somehow I'm not too bothered. After the one that's in my house, this wild lion doesn't sit in this chair. Maybe he will come out of this loving me. Maybe he won't. I'm not taking more animals. Maybe he will come out of this. Once it was simple, one feeling at the time. It reached its peak, then transformed. These abstract, complex feelings, I just don't know how to handle them. Should I throw her on one of these moves? But which one should I pick? Anything big, frustration big, humor big, for clarity. Maybe he will come out of this loving me. Maybe he won't. Somehow